Alright, so today we're going to be going over getting the characteristics of a graph. These include domain, x-intercepts, y-intercepts, vertical asymptotes, holes, and the horizontal asymptote. And a lot of you guys, you might get a little when you hear this stuff, but it's really not that hard. You just got to slow down, take it step by step, and once you do that, it's all of it is simple math. So we're just going to go with the top. First thing we're going to do is the top. So let's go ahead and get rid of this bottom right here. Alright, and we're just going to do this top. Just so we can slow down and do this simple, step by step. So, we never want this number right here. You never want this because it doesn't divide. If it's something that doesn't go into any of the other coefficients, you're never going to want that. So since 2 doesn't go into 7 or 3, we're going to have to find a way to get rid of that. And the way we're going to do that is we multiply it times 3. Now, as soon as we do that, we end up with x squared plus 7x plus 6. Basic math, 2 times 3, 6. Pretty simple, guys. Alright, now we're going to factor that. Alright, so what we're going to want to do, is we're going to want to find two numbers that can multiply together to equal 6, positive 6, and two numbers that can add together to equal positive 7. And if you do this right, you should come out with this. Plus 6 and x plus 1. It's pretty simple because 6 times 1 is 6 and 6 plus 7 or 6 plus 1 is 7. Alright, now we're going to get rid of all of this right here. We found our original equation right there. So this is what we ended up with when we were factoring that x squared plus 7x plus 6. Now, what we're going to want to do, and a lot of you guys freak out about it, but it's simple. It's simple. There's no need to, chill. Take it easy, alright? What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to undo the multiplication that we did at the beginning. So as we multiplied that 2 times that 3, we're going to want to undo that by, you guessed it, dividing. So we're going to divide 2 by both 6 and 1. And what we're going to end up with is x plus 3 and x plus 1/2. Pretty simple math, guys. There's no need to freak out about it. Just take it easy, step by step, and it's that simple. Now, Worm is going to do that bottom part for you. It's a lot easier than the top.
What's up, guys? This is Worm. I'm going to show you how to do the bottom part of that original equation. It's almost exactly the same as the top, except we don't have a coefficient in the front. So this one's a lot easier. What you want to do is try to find what two numbers can multiply to get 6 and also add together to get 5. And what you're going to end up with is x plus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, because 3 times 2 equals 6, but 3 plus 2 equals 5. So that's where you would get that, and that's your bottom part. That one is really easy. That's all you do right there. Now this is our almost finished equation after you get done in factoring. Okay, so what you want to notice immediately here is that there are two x plus 3's, and we do not want that at all. So we will cross this out, and this x plus 3 will only come up in the hole. Okay, so you can't have this for your domain, your x-intercept, your y asymptote, or your horizontal asymptote. There's no way that a 3 can be in there. Okay, and what we're going to look at now, our first characteristic, is the domain. And simply the way you find the domain is in the denominator. So domain, denominator. Denominator, domain. It's really simple. And so since this x plus 3 has already canceled with this other x plus 3, the only thing that's left is this 2 right here. Okay, and so the way you would write it you'd start off with negative infinity. You would go to negative 2. And then you would go from negative 2 to positive infinity. And you might notice that the 2 in the original equation is x plus 2, but for the domain it's negative. Well, the way we did that is we had x plus 2 and we set it equal to 0. And the way that you would solve for x is you would subtract each side by 2. And so see, you would end up with x equals negative 2.
Now we're going to go over this x-intercept. And the way we're going to find that is we look at the top. And it's simple, guys. Alright, so since our domain denominator equals domain equals the denominator, we're not going to be looking at the bottom for the x-intercept whatsoever. So our x, if you look at our original equation, the only thing we have left up there is x plus 2. Alright? Or no, x plus 1/2. That's the only thing we have left over there. And we're going to set that equal to 0, pretty simple. And then we're going to do minus 1/2. And that cancels out, and then we do minus 1/2, and x equals negative 1/2. The way you would write this down is, sorry about that. The way you would write this down is negative 1/2, 0. And that would be what you put down for your x characteristic.
Now for your y-intercept, all you do is look back at your original equation. This is the equation that you first started with, not the one where you factored. This is just straight up what you started with, okay? And the way you would do that to find your y-intercept is you would take off all of these that have x's. You would scratch that out because that would equal 0 if you put a 0 in for the x. And so the only numbers you'd end up with would be 3 over 6. And that would simplify very easily to 1 over 2. And the way you would write your y-intercept is 0 over 1/2.
The next thing we got is the domain, okay? Or no. The next thing we got is vertical asymptote. But this is easy because it's related to the domain. So if you have negative infinity, if you look back to our original to our domain, it'll say negative infinity to negative 2. That negative 2 is our corresponding point. So that's going to be our vertical asymptote, which is pretty simple. So x equals negative 2. All right, and then we're going to go into our holes. Now, our holes right here are the ones that repeat on the bottom and the top. So that would end up being x plus, or just 3. Now we're gonna wanna put that equal to 3, or no, we're gonna want to put that equal to 0. I'm sorry. All right, it's pretty simple, and then equals x would equal negative 3. Now we put that into our little whole thing, and we gotta find our y. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug in negative 3 into these x's right here. It's pretty simple. So we do negative 3 plus 1.5, and I know you guys are thinking, oh man, we're gonna have a fraction, but just take it easy until we get there. So we're gonna have 2.5, negative 2.5 over. Now if you did your math correctly, negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So it comes out actually pretty well. So y would come out equaling just 2.5, because these negatives, they come out, they make a positive. So it'd be negative 3, 2.5, and that would be our whole.
Now our last characteristic is the horizontal asymptote. And the way you would find that is you would look back at your original equation right here, and you would look at the exponents to begin the equation. You see on the top there is a x squared, and on the bottom there's also an x squared. And these two are the same, so they would cancel out. Whenever you have two of the same exponents, they cancel. So you're not looking at that for the horizontal asymptote. What you would look at is what's in front of the exponent, which we have a 2, and we also have an imaginary 1 right here. And so all you're doing is 2 divided by 1. It's whatever's in front of the exponent. So 2 divided by 1 would come out to 2, and so your horizontal asymptote would be y equals 2.
Now, if we did everything correctly, you should come out with these characteristics right here. Now, if you have any other questions, just go back on this video and look at it. Of course, there are some exceptions to some problems, but there's nothing that we can't help you out with. Just remember that when you're doing this stuff, not to overthink it, not to get stressed, because usually that's when you make a mistake. Just take it easy. Take a few moments to really think about what you need to be doing, and then get into the problem. It'll make things so much easier for you. And this is Elliot Andrade and Worm, and we're just here telling you to chill out.